I used to believe I had control over my life, my choices, my success, my carefully arranged future. I was the youngest senior producer at Silverline Media, a position I fought for with relentless ambition and a heart that rarely let distractions win. Then Isla Noor walked into the newsroom. She was breathtaking in a sharp, raven-black blazer and a stubbornly confident smirk. Her reputation had arrived before she did, the storm with a pen, the journalist whose exposes shook industries and toppled careers. I didn't expect her to topple mine. And it wasn't supposed to be personal. We met the first week she joined. She stood by my desk, leaning forward like she owned the place. "You're Eliza Rahman," she said. Her voice was lower than I expected, soft yet edged with mischief. "And you are, Trouble," I replied with a forced grin. "Smart woman," she murmured and walked away. Trouble didn't arrive immediately. Instead, something else did. Late-night editing sessions. Shared takeout. The electric silence between us when our hands brushed. That strange gravitational pull I pretended not to feel. Her eyes lingered too long on my lips, my voice softened too much when I said her name. I should have known. I should have seen it coming. But desire makes fools of even the sharpest women. 2 months after she joined, everything fell apart. An investigation began, an anonymous whistleblower accusing me of manipulating footage in a story. The evidence? A file sent directly to HR. A file only Isla had access to. I confronted her in the empty studio, my voice shaking. "You did this," I hissed. Isla didn't flinch. "Your story endangered lives." That was my career. Some truths matter more than careers. I felt something inside me break. Not anger. Not fear. Betrayal. And the worst part? She avoided my gaze while saying it, like the guilt itself might swallow her whole. 2 weeks later, after a brutal internal review, I was fired. My badge revoked. My name tarnished. For several long seconds, I simply stared at her. Rain dripped from her hair to her chin, her blazer clung to her like second skin, and her eyes, usually sharp, looked shattered. I should have slammed the door. I should have told her to go back to whatever moral high ground she'd climbed onto when she ruined my life. But instead, I stepped aside. "Come in," I said flatly. Isla entered with the hesitant steps of someone afraid the floor might collapse beneath her. I tossed her a towel, avoiding her gaze. She caught it with shaking hands. "Thank you," she murmured. Her lips were pale. There were faint cuts on her knuckles. Dark circles under her eyes. Something was wrong, more than guilt, more than regret. "What happened?" I asked, crossing my arms. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her chest rose and fell like she was fighting for breath. "I made a mistake," she finally said. A bitter laugh escaped me. "Which one? Destroying my career or pretending you cared about me?" Her face crumpled. "I never pretended." Those words hit harder than I wanted them to. But I refused to soften. "Why are you here, Isla?" She swallowed. "Because someone is following me." My anger paused, replaced briefly by confusion. "Following you?" "Yes. I exposed a trafficking ring last month. One of the names in the leaked documents should have never been there. Someone powerful. Someone who wants me silent." Her eyes lifted to mine. "They found where I live." A part of me wanted to feel satisfaction, karma, consequence, poetic justice. But when Isla took a shaky step toward me, her voice cracking, that satisfaction withered. "I thought I could handle it," she whispered. But then tonight, they tried to break into my apartment. A cold shiver climbed my spine. You should have gone to the police. I did. They're looking into it. But I can't stay there. I didn't know where else to go. Her voice broke. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve your help. But I trust you. Isla sipped the tea with trembling hands, her eyes never leaving me. The apartment was quiet except for the wind beating against the windows. Why didn't you tell me? I finally asked. About what? She whispered. That you were the whistleblower. Isla looked down, guilt twisting her expression. I wasn't. I froze. What? She swallowed hard. I didn't send the file to HR. I only wrote the internal report about the story's risks. But the footage, the file they used against you, was manipulated by someone else. My breath caught. Who? I don't know, she admitted. But someone wanted you gone. And they used my report as justification. Then why didn't you defend me? Why didn't you tell them the truth? A tear slid down her cheek. Because they threatened to fire both of us. And I panicked. There it was. The truth. Ugly. Human. Terrifyingly honest. And after they fired me? I asked, voice tightening. Why didn't you come clean then? Because by the time I realized the full extent of what happened, you already hated me. And I thought staying away was the least I could do to make amends. Her voice cracked. I told myself it was to protect you. But the truth is, I was a coward. Isla rarely cried, but now her shoulders shook, silently, painfully. I looked away, because if I watched her break, I was afraid I'd break with her. You should have told me, I whispered. You owed me that much. I know, she choked out. And I swear I came tonight because I had nowhere else to go, not because I expected forgiveness. Silence again. Heavy. Dangerous. Then she whispered the last thing I was ready for. I missed you. My heart twisted sharply. Don't do this, I said. Not now. I can't help it, she murmured, lifting her gaze to mine. Losing you hurt more than anything I've faced in my career. And I've faced death threats before. Her raw honesty pierced through the armor I'd spent months building. Isla, you ruined everything. My pulse thundered in my ears. The hallway outside my apartment was usually silent at this hour. Not tonight. Isla stood, moving toward me instinctively as if to shield me. Her fingers brushed mine, a fleeting, terrified touch. Stay behind me, I whispered. I should be saying that to you, she replied, voice trembling. We stepped cautiously to the door. Another sound, a soft scrape, like someone testing the lock. My skin prickled. I grabbed the closest thing to a weapon, a heavy metal floor lamp. Isla picked up a glass vase, knuckles white. The scraping stopped. Silence stretched. Then, footsteps retreated rapidly down the stairwell. Isla let out a breath she'd been holding. They're checking apartments, she whispered. Making sure I'm here before they make a move. I turned to her sharply. What did you get yourself into? The truth, she said. The kind that gets people killed. I exhaled through my teeth. You need police protection. They won't give it, she replied bitterly. Too much political pressure. Too many names at stake. I raked a hand through my hair. The rational part of me screamed to push her out, to save myself from whatever storm she brought. But the other part, the part she still owned. Okay, I said. You're staying here tonight. Relief washed through her face so quickly it made my chest ache. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet, I muttered. I cleared the couch for her, throwing an extra blanket toward her. Isla hesitated. You want me to sleep here? Yes. She nodded, though disappointment flickered in her eyes. She curled into the blanket, exhaustion finally overtaking her. I turned off the lights. But I didn't sleep. Hours passed. Rain eased into a gentle drizzle. Dawn crept in. Isla stirred on the couch, whispering my name in her sleep. A soft, broken plea. I sat beside her. She looked so young like this, unguarded, vulnerable. My fingers hovered over her cheek. I didn't touch her. By noon, my apartment had become a war room. Isla sat at my small dining table, laptop open, hair tied messily. I was next to her, stacks of printouts and encrypted USB drives scattered around us. So, I said, pointing to the screen, this name, Raymond Saudet, why is he so important? Isla's jaw tightened. He's not just some businessman. He's involved in half the political funding in the city. The trafficking ring laundered money through his charities. And he's the one coming after you? Most likely. I leaned back, absorbing the weight of it all. Isla glanced at me, voice softer. You don't have to do this. I met her gaze. You came to me at 4 a.m., Isla. You trusted me. I'm not leaving you to fight alone. Her eyes softened, filled with gratitude, affection, a tenderness I hadn't seen in months. Working together felt dangerously natural. We argued, debated, connected dots, dug deep into data. At some point, Isla leaned over, correcting something on my notes, her breath brushing my cheek. Heat rushed to my face. She didn't move away. Neither did I. Her hand slid slightly over mine. Warm. Familiar. My breath hitched. Isla whispered, I missed this, us. I closed my eyes. I'm still angry. You should be. But I also. My voice trailed off. Her thumb gently stroked my knuckle. My defenses wavered. Then. My phone buzzed violently. Unknown number. I answered. A distorted voice spoke. Tell your guest she won't get a second warning. A chill slashed through me. I hung up immediately. Isla, I said, voice low. They called me. They know you're here. Her face drained of color. Before she could respond, a loud thud echoed from outside. We froze. The doorknob rattled, hard. Someone tried opening it. A second later. Bang. A shoulder hit the door. Isla grabbed my arm. Hide, she whispered urgently. No, we. Another slam. The wood began to crack. Isla's voice trembled. Eliza, please. 3 men stormed into the apartment. I stood in the middle of the living room, phone in hand, pretending to call for help. They froze when they saw me. Where is she? The largest one demanded. I live alone, I said coldly. He stepped closer. I stepped back, leading him exactly where I wanted. You're lying, he growled. You're trespassing, I shot back. Which means the police will. He lunged. I threw the lamp at him with all my strength. It crashed into his shoulder, buying me seconds. I bolted toward the hallway, shouting loud enough for neighbors to hear. Doors cracked open. Voices stirred. The men panicked, too much attention, too fast. They retreated just as sirens wailed from down the block. Someone must have called the police. They ran. I slammed the door shut behind them, chest heaving. Isla burst out of the pantry and rushed to me. "Are you okay?" she cried, hands cupping my face. "I'm fine," I gasped. "You?" She nodded, but tears streamed down her cheeks. "You could have died," she whispered. "I told you I wouldn't." She pulled me into her arms, tight, trembling, desperate. I sank into the embrace, my anger dissolving under the warmth of her body against mine. "I'm sorry," she breathed into my shoulder. "For everything. For the report. For leaving you alone in the fallout. For not being brave enough to protect you." Her voice cracked. "I never stopped loving you, Eliza. Not for 1 second." My heart throbbed painfully. I leaned back, cupping her jaw. Her eyes glistened, raw and open. "Isla," I whispered. "You broke me. I know. But you also came back when you were breaking too." She exhaled shakily, forehead resting against mine. I brushed my thumb along her cheek. "We expose Sadat," I said softly. "Then, we figure out us." Her breath hitched. "Is there still an US?" I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I kissed her. It was soft at first, uncertain, familiar, painfully tender.